I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to the channel. My name is John, and I'm typical Dutchman. And I often wonder, why is there such a misunderstanding in culture between the Netherlands and Europe and the US? What is making this misunderstanding happening? And today, I'm going to look at a video about America's overwork obsession, because I know that in the United States, people work 50, 60 hours a week, skipping vacations, making a lot of extra time, overtime, maybe have two jobs, and to make money. And if you have money, then it's barely enough to live from. So that's something that in Europe and in the Netherlands hardly happens. So I want to know what is this? What makes this overwork obsession from America versus what we do in the Netherlands or in Europe? So I'm going to start with subscribe and like, and then let's see what we can do and about this. Second thought.
This episode and others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon. YouTube has demonetized almost all of my recent videos, so
Wow. Why?
if you're able, please consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron at patreon.com/secondthought.
Oh, this could be that if he has things in his and I reacting to it, that this video may be demonetized. I'm hoping that the music is already not copyrighted.
The less you eat, drink, and buy books, the less you go to the theater, the dance hall, the public house, the less you think, love, theorize, sing, paint, fence, etc., the more you save. The greater becomes your treasure which neither moths nor rust will devour, your capital. The less you are, the less you express your own life, the more you have, i.e., the greater is your alienated life. The greater is the store of your estranged being. Everything which the political economist takes from you in life and in humanity, he replaces for you in money and in wealth. All passions and all activity must therefore be submerged in avarice. The worker may only have enough for him to want to live, and may only want to live in order to have that.
Whoa. Okay. That's a big intro. Let me know if it's true, if you think alike. But yeah, okay. Let's say that we work to live and we don't live to work. It's one of the most default expressions of me when we talk about work.
These words, penned by Karl Marx in 1844, are no less true today than they were.
Oh, they were from Karl Marx. Okay.
170 years ago, and nowhere on earth do they ring more true than in the United States. As the wealthiest nation on earth, the US enjoys the privilege of looking down on the rest of the world as, quote, less successful, our people basking in the light of glorious American exceptionalism. What we fail to realize is that our concept of success is not only narrow and short-sighted, but also fundamentally opposed to human flourishing. Our population as a whole may enjoy more wealth than some of our peer nations, but at what cost? Our waking hours are consumed by work, our life expectancy is on the decline.
Well, much wealth, not for everybody. And as I understand, most of you have just enough to get by, living from paycheck to paycheck. And yeah, so wealthier than your neighbors, I dispute that. I don't think so. If you have hardly $100 at the end of the month while you're working that much time, while your Mexican neighbor, Canadian, or we in Europe, we do, and we have 300 or 400 euros at the end of the month still spending money, then you cannot say of yourself that you are more rich than your neighbors.
We rate poorly in metrics like happiness and job satisfaction, and those of us in the workforce today will rate Our waking hours are consumed by work, our life expectancy is on the decline, we rate poorly in metrics like happiness and job satisfaction, and those of us in the workforce today will never achieve the financial stability of our parents' generation. In this
Yeah, that's more like that, yeah.
episode, we're going to attempt to divorce the notion of success from the dogged pursuit of the accumulation of capital. Let's start with the core belief that animates many American workers, the idea of the American dream. A sort of national ethos, the philosophy of the American dream can be summed up something like this. Everyone has the opportunity for prosperity and success, regardless of their background and based solely upon their ability or achievement. It's very much a
Yeah, if you work, not if you work hard, if you have the right idea and the right attitude, no matter what you have done, if your idea is valid, then you can become rich. But that's not only in America, but America is a great nation with a lot of people. So, but yeah.
pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality, a phrase which is also very common in American life. The idea that one should be able to succeed without any external help, solely through one's own force of will and hard work. This notion is, of course, absurd, and
Yeah. What it was, yeah? Okay.
is made even more ridiculous by the fact that the phrase has been adopted by so many in a manner completely opposite to its original meaning. To pull yourself up by your own bootstraps is obviously impossible, and that was the original meaning of the phrase, to attempt something that is completely absurd.
You cannot pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No, okay. I know, bootstrapping is a part of the PC of a computer startup. It's called bootstrapping, but yeah, okay.
Of course, in America, nothing is impossible, so we refitted the expression to better suit our dogmatic obsession with self-reliance. America is an interesting case study, because unlike many other countries, when settlers first arrived here, there seemed to be an endless expanse of land to explore and claim. This frontier lifestyle gave birth to the restless nature of the American dream. One governor noted in 1774 that the Americans forever imagine the lands further off are still better than those upon which they are already settled. He added that, if they attained paradise, they would move on if they heard of a better place farther west.
Yeah, the grass is greener at the neighbor. If the neighbor has greener grass. Yeah, always.
This sums up the American relationship to work pretty well. What we have is never enough. We need to accumulate more and more wealth, never satisfied, ever striving. Over the last couple centuries, the American dream has evolved into what we see today. Work hard, save money, send your kids to college so they can live a better life than you did, retire to Florida. In a
Retired. Yes, that's true. Is everybody retiring to Florida? Then it must be a cost to live there. Okay. Send your kids to college. Yeah.
A lot of ways, this is a noble goal. The desire for your children to live a better life than you did is what we should expect of ourselves. But more recently, over the past 50 years or so, the benefits of hard work have been stripped away, and the things older generations took for granted have all but disappeared. Jobs are harder to find and pay far less money than our parents were paid for comparable positions. Pension plans and retirement benefits are rarely offered these days. We have some of the worst vacation and parental leave options in the world. Much of the economy has shifted to gig work, which doesn't have to provide health insurance or any other benefits.
What? Gig? Oh, a gig. Doing a gig work. I would say, what is gig work? But doing a gig, yeah. Without, I see him walking Uber Eats, so you get paid by the gig and no health insurance, nothing. Yeah, okay.
And domestic and global perception of the US is on a decidedly downward trajectory. But don't just take my word for it, let's look at a few statistics. Back in the 1960s, only 20% of American mothers worked. This was partly due to the perceived role of the mother as the primary homemaker and caretaker, but it was also largely because most households only needed one source of income to provide a financially stable and upwardly mobile life. Today,
yeah, okay.
70% of American children live in households where both parents are employed. Most families simply can't get by on a single source of income.
Let me think. Over here in the Netherlands, what, 70%? I don't have the exact figures, but now in 2025, a lot of people both work, but it's not the necessity to work because we cannot come by with one income, but both want to work because you have interaction with other people, and it's nice to have some extra money and not stay at home all day. And even if you don't have kids, then it's a good distraction of sitting all day at home. If it's good weather, no problem. But in rainy days, yeah. So it's not a necessity to do, but a lot of people do it because they want to.
At least 134 countries have laws that cap the maximum length of the work week. The US does not. In the United States, almost 86% of men and over 66% of women work more than 40 hours per week. You've probably heard that Japanese workers are some of the most overworked in the world. The average American works 137 more hours per year than the average Japanese worker.
137 hours a year more than a Japanese. I don't know how long Japanese works, but
We work 260 more hours than the British. We
260 hours more than the British. Okay, let's hear.
work 499 more hours than the French.
Almost 500 hours more than the French a year. That is a year. No, it's not. But it's 10 weeks, 10, 12 weeks more than average in Europe. Let's say average. It's not only French, but on average. With a 36, and in the Netherlands, a 36-hour work week, maybe 38, some 40. But that's it.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, productivity of the average American worker has increased by 400% since 1950.
Yeah, okay. And then we have holidays, vacation days, etc. So this is always a 3 or 4 weeks a year times 40 hours that you don't work, 60 hours versus Americans. So that's already a 240 hours extra that Americans work that Europeans don't.
If we're producing value at 4 times the previous rate, that would mean we could earn a comparable living to our grandparents in 1/4 the work hours, right? Obviously, that's not the case. We're working longer hours at a drastically increased rate of productivity, but we don't benefit from that labor. Well, at least we're rewarded with generous vacation and parental leave. Oh, wait, no. We have the worst rankings in the developed world, and worse rankings than many third world countries. Among 41 studied nations, the US ranks dead last in terms of paid parental leave. We are the only nation.
Paid parental leave? No. I see the Netherlands over here. Yeah, it's Spain, Turkey, Belgium, less. Israel, Slovenia, Germany, Japan, Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, Korea, Sweden, Mexico, Portugal, almost no parental leave. Netherlands is, I'm not a dad, but it's, if I'm correct, 6 weeks before giving birth and 6 weeks after giving birth.
Out of those 41 that does not mandate some amount of paid parental leave. For comparison, the smallest amount of paid leave required by the remaining 40 nations in the study is about 2 months. 2 months of paid leave in the US is unfathomable. In 34 of the 41 countries, some of the leave is allocated for new fathers. There's a reason we only ever hear the phrase maternity leave in the US, and that's because new fathers are never eligible for leave in order to spend time with their child.
Yeah, okay, he meant that, yeah, we have parent leave, I believe, that's for the mother, but the dad can also take for a certain amount of time, 1 day a week or an X amount of time, half a day a week, paid parental leave so that he can be with his wife, support his wife, and make connection to the child. Yeah.
Allocated for new fathers. There's a reason we only ever hear the phrase maternity leave in the US, and that's because new fathers are never eligible for leave in order to spend time with their child. Some countries that rank higher than the US include Mexico, Greece, Croatia, even our fellow workaholic Japan. Estonia offers 86 weeks of paid parental leave.
86? That would be the max. 86 weeks. 86, 52, 86, 26, 86. It's more than 16 months. No, 18 months. 18 months, give or take. Parental leave? Wow.
Again, the United States offers nothing. There are 0 industrialized nations on Earth that don't have a mandatory option for paid parental leave, except the US. Vacation and sick time is a similar story. We don't have a federal law requiring paid sick days, nor do we have a law mandating paid annual leave, once again making us the only industrialized nation not to do so.
Yeah, law. It's the law. We are a bit older than America, and our labor laws are stronger, and we have unions who force stuff to be done. So yeah, if you don't have it, and yeah, I know it's because in America the big companies own the employees, and if somebody thinks I'm gonna make a union and we're gonna fight for better work rights and better laws, then someone with a large money comes over and said, nah, either you get fired or someone is bought off, is lobbied in the Senate or something to prevent that kind of law to pass. That's the problem in the United States. Big money determines how the work laws are.
Take a look at this graph. You might notice there's a bar missing.
What is this? Paid vacation and paid holidays for all the OECD nations. And then we see France. I'm looking for the Netherlands, of course. Where are we? Yes, the Netherlands. 20 paid vacation days. 4 weeks times 5 days. Yeah. And that's without Christmas and Easter and those days. And no paid holidays. What's the difference between vacation and holidays? Okay. But you know, none. Where's the best? Austria? Austria 25 and 13. In Austria, okay. Where's Germany? 20 and 10 30, yeah. Labor laws.
That would be the United States, not mandating any paid leave whatsoever. It's especially depressing when you realize that a McDonald's employee in Norway gets more vacation time than just about any American worker, regardless of field or salary. Meanwhile, in the United States, we abuse our low-paid workers and lambaste them for being lazy and not finding a better job. It's no wonder that our citizens consistently rank poorly for happiness and job satisfaction. They're being worked to death, paid workers, and lambaste them for being lazy and not finding a better job.
Being lazy, not finding a better job. Wow. It's not that easy to find a new job and get better paid. That's, if you do, that's abuse. If you don't do what I say, I will fire you on the spot. That's something else that cannot happen in Europe. You are protected. You cannot be fired on the spot. So
it's no wonder that our citizens consistently rank poorly for happiness.
We are human, not robots. Amazon workers on strike. Good. Do so. You will all be fired tomorrow. That's what's missing in the United States is unity.
And job satisfaction. They're being worked to death, are not offered any benefits, get no time off, and on top of that are abused for trying to earn a living. What's perhaps more disappointing than wealthy older people deriding low-paid workers is other workers in precarious positions doing the same. For example, take gig economy workers. While some of them are fully aware that their occupation is based on their own exploitation, there's a disappointing subset of people who buy into the notion of, quote, hustle culture. You'll see these people make inspirational Instagram posts, posting images of Jeff Bezos, using hashtags like rise and grind, and going on about how the key to success is to work all day, every day until it pays off. Here's the thing. For these people, it will never pay off. Deifying rich people who accumulated their wealth by exploiting others or inheriting vast sums of money doesn't make you smart, it means you've bought their propaganda. If you drive 15 hours a day for Uber, you might make a bit more money, but you don't have any opportunity for advancement. You're not suddenly going to get health insurance or vacation time because you're working hard. You're
No, that's right. Yeah. 15 hours a day Ubering.
a piece of equipment to them. You drive the car, you make them money. That's all you're worth to Uber. But this toxic idea that we need to give up hours, days, years of our lives as a sort of sacrifice to appease the gods of success is not only misguided, it's actively throwing away your life. Hustle culture
Yeah, again, but the title is Americans Overwork Obsession. Where is this coming from? Why? Why is now he's now complaining about there are no labor laws and people lack, like I say, like cohesion, not cohesion, lack union and fight, but that's not, yeah.
destroys your work-life balance, and those who engage in it see themselves as morally superior to people working traditional jobs for a wage. These sorts of false divisions among the working class are exactly what the ruling class wants. The same is true of the false division between the working class and the so-called middle class. It's a meaningless distinction designed solely to make more comfortable workers feel superior to their lower-paid counterparts, and therefore at odds with their own best interests. If you feel superior to others, or see yourself more like the billionaires than your fellow workers, you'll never organize against your oppressors, because you believe you might one day become part of this upper echelon. If you just work a few more hours per week,
Yeah, it's mentality. Yeah. It's propaganda from everybody, and if you believe in it, and it's already starting at school, yeah.
surely you'll be rewarded and gain entrance into their elite club. America's cult of overwork destroys our collective imagination. It removes every possible motivation beyond the desire for the accumulation of more wealth. To many Americans, there is nothing but work and the possibility of eventual reward. Work is the only thing that matters. But there is so much more to
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Comparing to earlier days, earlier years, I have to say, what's happening in the United States is that the big companies want to have more results every year. They are not satisfied if the company last year, like let's say the big ones, Apple and Google and the Magnificent Seven. If Apple makes last year, I don't know, 2 billion profit, and this year it will make only 1.8 billion profit. Oh, panic! We have 200 million losses made, but it's still 1.8 billion profit. It's less profit than the year before, and then we get cutbacks and people getting kicked out, or the prices of Apple products goes up because we expect, and if we don't make 2 billion and 2, then our investors that we need the money from to do R&D, but spending 1.8 billion of your into R&D, but that's the prices go up. If the prices go up from all those products, you have to pay more. And if you have to pay more, you have to work harder and longer to get the same amount. And with getting the same amount too, that's the circle that's happening.
To life than what capitalism has conditioned us to pursue. If we worked fewer, nothing but work and the possibility of eventual reward. Work is the only thing that matters. But there is so much more to life than what capitalism has conditioned us to pursue.
Yeah, capitalism,
If we worked fewer hours, we could take time to spend with family and friends. We could learn that hobby we've been putting off for years. We could write novels, produce art, create things that enrich the lives of others on a fundamental human level. We could take time to just exist. When was the last time you just took a day to relax and you didn't feel guilty about it?
That's it. You can take a day. It's stress relief. Leaving the work, and I was in that situation too. That I didn't work that much I didn't work much, but still in comparison to. But when I left work, I went home and then I did another 3 or 4 hours work every day. So in total, I also did 60 hours a week until there was a moment that, yeah, my body say, ooh, end of work. And I went down. From that moment, I made a decision with myself that I start working when I enter, and that was the building. And when I enter the parking spot, or my parking garage of my school, and I stopped working from the moment I left the parking garage with my car. And that's it. When I left, that's over. Nothing else. Only rare instances that absolutely has to be done then, but for the rest, nothing. That's if you don't have that mindset, if you can switch to that mindset or work from X to I, that's all. But it's not possible. I still got the same money. But if in America, if you don't work 60 hours and you decide to work only 40 hours, you don't have enough to live. Let's say to enjoy living. Your quality of life will not go up by working less because you don't have the money to enjoy your quality of life.
So conditioned to believe that we should always be working that even when we're not working, it's all we can think about. The American dream,
Yeah, that's burnout, overworking mentality. It's not good. Constant stress.
obsession that any
And what do people do? When people do this and have this constant stress, what happens? Two things happens. Either they don't see it and they commit suicide, or two, they get addicted to either soft drugs, hard drugs, or alcohol, because those are stress relievers that work instantly and only a few hours. So you can, that's the wrong method to de-stress yourself.
anyone can, quote, make it if they work hard enough, is thoroughly tangled up with the notion of American exceptionalism. We think it's because we work so hard that we are exceptional. And you know what? We are exceptional. We're the most overworked population on the planet. Our standard of living is going down. Our life expectancy is going down. We don't get vacation days, sick days, or time to spend with our newborn children. We're increasingly unhappy. Our economy is teetering on the brink of the worst financial crisis in modern history. We can't protect ourselves from a pandemic that everyone else handled because we're so conditioned to believe that we always need to be working. And somehow we still believe that the American dream is a reality. So yes, we are exceptional, but we're exceptional in all the wrong ways. If we don't dismantle the oppressive structures that enable this culture of overwork, this is the only form of American exceptionalism that will ever exist.
And then the question is, how can you do this if the politics and the big companies with their lobbying and all their money prevent you, the people of the ordinary working class, want to do this? You cannot do this if there's still, if not politics, if the politic is still dictated by big money, then the change will never be there. And to change that you're going to change how, if somebody's getting president and how parties get paid and how much they can get paid, etc., that entire system. I do not know how this works exactly in the United States, but if somebody like Trump can literally buy the presidency, then it's not a good system, and you can't break that system because money talks in the United States and not the people. And that's where I end my story too. The sun went down. Yeah, it's so that changing this is the hardest thing to do, in my opinion, in the United States, because of the money that's involved, capitalism, it's ridiculous how much money the United States government, the federal government, makes, and how less it uses for to save and to the social part of the people, because it's not done. It's ridiculous how this works. It's mind-blowing for me and for other Europeans how this works. How can this be that we the people, the Constitution, we the people have the power, but it's more and more we the rich people decide what's good and not good, and what is in the amendments, and how the amendments are being read over, and who's going to decide. And then we have three separate powers, but there's one overall power, and that's money. And if that's keeping on, it won't change. It cannot change if money is the the basic for everything that's happening in America about the quality of life. If you like this kind of content, then press like and subscribe to the channel. I will make everyday videos about it. If you want to see a video, now that's one too. Subscribe you can do here, and I also do some live reactions on Sunday or Saturday, depending on the time zone. But you will find those in the description for this video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.